Hey, good morning, everybody. So, as we continue with volume, today we're going to talk about and learn how to do volume of spheres. Okay. So, when you think of a sphere, think of like a basketball or a softball, volleyball. Okay. It's finding the volume of those kind of objects. Now, you know that there are circles involved. Okay. And if you remember, anything that involves circles involves pi. Okay. Now, yesterday when we did our assignment, there were a couple of some of the answers were slightly off from what you got, guys, and that's because remember when I told you to just use 3.14 for pi? Well, the worksheet that we had may have used 3.14 and then continuing it over, so they're slightly off. When you come across one like that, okay, when you have a multiple choice answer, just pick the one that is closest to what the actual answer is. Okay, hopefully that makes sense because you're not going to get exact answers anytime there's circles involved. Okay, so let's take a look. First of all, the formula, and this is kind of a tricky formula. Okay, there's a lot of steps, but again, when it's just a formula, all you really have to do is just plug in the numbers. Okay, so volume of a sphere, volume equals 4 times pi times r, but instead of squared, this is cubed, and you're going to divide all of that by 3. Okay, and again, this is volume, so volume equals cubic units. Okay, so for example, if our answer was 5,214 centimeters, we would have centimeters cubed. Okay, don't do 5,214 and then cube centimeters. Okay, not like this. Okay, all right, let's get started with some examples. Okay, start with this one. Okay, we have, first of all, this from the middle of this sphere to the outside. Okay, anywhere in that circle from the middle to the outside is a radius. Okay, so we're in good shape. We have our r here. Okay, so let's start with our formula. Volume equals 4 times pi r cubed, and we're going to divide all of that by 3. Okay, let's take this step by step here. Okay, now we have 4 times 3.14 times the radius is 11, so 11 cubed. All of that divided by 3. Now, if you just punch all of this into your calculator, some of it might work, some of them may not work. Okay, depending on how your calculator is made. Okay, sometimes they don't really consider order of operations, and truthfully, we need this exponent to be done first. Okay, in other words, if you were to multiply 4 times 3.14 times 11 and then cube that number, you're going to get a much larger number than what the actual number is. So let's go ahead and take this. Let's say 4 times 3.14, and we're going to go ahead and do 11 to the third power. Okay, now you can do this in your calculators. Okay, 11 to the third power will give us 1,331. Okay, now I am letting you use calculators, so it's not that much work to just write this stuff out, right? Okay, so volume equals 4 times 3.14. The total that we would get here is about 16,717.36. Now, again, this might be slightly different than the multiple choice answers you're given. Reason being, because those are using a different amount of pi. Okay, but we're just going to stick with 3.14. Okay, and then when we divide this by 3, we should get an answer like this. Volume is about, please remember, these are approximate, 5,572.4, and this is miles cubed. Okay, that's our final answer for this one. Okay, and it's really all about just plugging in the numbers where they need to go. Okay, it's not that um, difficult of a process. Okay. Now, sometimes you might be given a diameter, and you're going to have to think a little bit more when you have a diameter. Okay. Because what are you required? You're required to have a radius. But if you're given a diameter, you're going to have to first deal with that diameter and convert it into a radius before you actually find the answer. Okay. For example, let's take a look at this one. If I notice, and you got to be careful, you got to pay attention when you're looking at your worksheet. I'm not given a radius here, I'm given a diameter. But in essence, if I'm given a diameter, I'm also given a radius, right? If my diameter is 20, then what's my radius? 10. Okay, and we'll go ahead and label these. All right, so first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and write my formula. Volume of a sphere equals 4 times pi r cubed divided by 3. Let's plug in some numbers here. 4 times 3.14 times 10 to the third power divided by 3. Well, 4 times 3.14, what is 10 to the third power? 1,000, okay? And I'm going to divide this all by 3. Okay, so volume equals 3.14 times 4 times 1,000. And I come up with 12,560, and I'm going to divide that by 3. So the volume of this one would equal about, sorry, I wrote my equal sign, I didn't mean to, about 4,186.7, and this would be centimeters cubed. All right, I'm hoping that that makes sense to you guys. Okay, really all it is plugging in the numbers and finding the volume of that figure. Okay, and again, volume is basically how much space an object occupies. So if you were to like take a volleyball and cut a little hole in it and fill it up with water, okay, this is how many cubic centimeters of water would go into a figure of this size, just to kind of put it into a mental picture for you. All right. Again, watch this video as many times as you need to. Okay. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless you. Miss you, and we'll talk to you soon.